Anyone got a pencil? Hello, my name's Mark and I'm the host of the Mixtape podcast, where every week on the show I will ask my guests to make up an imaginary mixtape. They'll give it a title and pick 6 tracks. Track 1, what's going to be your intro track, your attention grabber, your track 1 side one that's going to draw me in and make me want to listen to the rest of your tape. Track 2, pick a song that you sing loud and proud when you're on your own in the car or the shower. Track 3, pick your favourite cover version. Track 4, pick a song you wish you could have played to your 18-year-old self. Track 5, pick a song that you would put on your mixtape to let the listener know that you are romantically interested. And track 6, I'm going to ask them to pick something a little bit obscure, maybe a B-side or an album track. Don't forget to smash that follow or plus sign at the top of the page and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. And you can follow me on Instagram at the Mixtape Perth. Hope you enjoy this week's chat. Hello and welcome to this week's Mixtape, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome on the show this week Mark Day, guitarist from Happy Mondays. How are you, Mark?
Good day. Yeah, I'm fine, mate. Thank you.
Okay, so you're bringing your 30th anniversary Greatest Hits tour to Australia in October. Just read off the dates real quick. Your 19th of October, Tivoli in Brisbane. 20th of October, the Enmore in Sydney. 21st of October, the Forum in Melbourne. That one is sold out. There's an extra show added the 22nd of October, the Forum in Melbourne. The 24th of October at the Gov in Adelaide. And then, obviously, saving the very best till last, 25th of October, the Metropolis in Freo. Tickets from oztix.com.au. There's still a few knocking around for some of those shows. So, yeah, jump on them real quick. Are you looking forward to getting down under, Mark? What's the vibe in the camp? You looking forward to a bit of warmer weather?
Oh, yeah. Very excited. Can't wait to get over there. There's probably more sun over there than there's over here. And it's not raining all the time. So, yeah, it'd be nice. Can't wait.
We've just had, honestly, it's just coming out. We're in the spring now. September's sort of first month of spring, and a long cold one, I'll be honest. I know I'm not a true blue Aussie, as you can probably tell from the accent. I'm an Essex boy, but anything drops below like sort of 20 degrees, that's it, mate. I've got my jacket on. I'm freezing. A long cold couple of months through winter, but like you say, from what I'm hearing about the English summer, we probably had the best of it over here.
Yeah, total washout.
Yeah. So I've heard. Times like that, I'm sort of glad I made the move, really. Yeah, and I had Rowetta on the show 2 or 3 months ago, and she was saying about how she was worried about how hot it's going to be in Australia. But October is a perfect time, mid-20s, high 20s. It's a perfect time. So yeah, you won't be getting too flogged out in the sun, mate. When you're on tour, Mark, like how do you like to roll? Are you sort of a sound check and chill sort of guy, or are you kind of a sort of getting out and about and seeing the sights?
Well, last time we went, one of my favourite hobbies was to go for a wander, see what was around the area. So I did a lot of walking in Australia to see the site, as much as I could do, because when you've got a gig at night, you get up and you're in your hotel, you've got all day to do something. So I just used to wander around the shopping precinct, local, artifacts, visit museums, and where the rest of them just fester in the beds, I like to go out and about.
Yeah, I think I was chatting to Rowetta, she said her and Bez just basically get on it for the after parties and stuff like that. They're all about the partying, and you don't strike me as that sort of guy at all.
No, I'm more of a day person.
Yeah, Fremantle, where your gig is in Perth, you're probably quite lucky. It's quite a historic sort of town, so there's lots going on there. It's a maritime sort of, it's a dock port sort of town, so there's loads going on there. There's a really nice maritime museum there, and yeah, it's quite a nice, interesting place to get around. So yeah, I'm sure you'll enjoy it there. There's some nice breweries as well.
Schedule, whether I've got time to do anything or not.
Yeah, I think that's the last night of your tour is Fremantle. So yeah, hopefully, I'm not sure when you're flying back to. You heading back to the UK straight after the tour, or are you moving on somewhere else to more
Probably.
days?
Yeah, sleep on the plane.
That's the way, mate. That's the way. So I noticed on the Monday's Instagram, it's been a pretty busy sort of festival season for you, and yeah, the festival season sort of, I wouldn't say winding down now, but probably sort of slowing down a little bit. What's been some of your sort of festival highlights, Mark, over the English sort of summer, if I can call it that?
All of them. We were lucky that it wasn't a washout because, that's one thing you don't want is it to be just totally raining all the time. So that you feel for the crowd who've got to stand there and watch you and they're getting absolutely wet through. And the funny thing was when we came on at, I think it was Crystal Palace with James, and the sun was shining. As soon as we went up, the heavens opened.
Unlucky. And the festival sets, you normally break out the Travis cover version, and that's normally gets the crowd on side a bit of why does it always rain on me? Just crank that one out. And yeah, I've lived in Australia for 13 years now, and I remember back in the day when I lived in the UK, like festivals weren't like, you could get tickets fairly easily. Like at one point they were sort of winding up. Do you remember the Phoenix Festival that used to be like Birmingham somewhere? That was quite a big one. That shut down. There's like, not making enough money. And now, like 20 years later, in a festival ticket for Glastonbury is like winning the lottery, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Innit?
there's festivals like popping up left, right, and centre. It must be so good for bands, especially during that sort of May to sort of September time, where you just there's so many gig opportunities out and about there.
Glastonbury now is compared from the 90s, it's just quadrupled in size. It's just get lost there, spend days wandering around looking for things. It's just unbelievable. So obviously, not my thing. Obviously, you're not putting me in a tent in a field, watching bands. Did he once and I didn't like it. It's daunting. So basically, they're on sale and they're gone within the hour, and prices people pay. Yeah, we were due to play there before COVID, but that didn't happen and they're not invited back. So, we'll see.
And just like sort of going back a little bit, Mark, or probably a lot actually, not just a little bit. Like, how did you sort of come to meet Shaun and Paul and sort of form the Mondays in the sort of very early days? Were you school friends or did you know them from around the place, or how did that sort of come about?
We went to different schools. So obviously it was when I bumped into luckily they were looking for a guitarist. So I've been playing a couple of years already. So they just invited me down to just meet them and do a Joy Division cover version. So we went and I turned up in my Queen's t-shirt and they were two Perry boys. So there was a total contrast in fashion and music. And I just got me a new Arrow Pro 2 guitar, which I'm very proud of. And I've been playing with the arms and the chords and stuff. So there was another guitarist, Matt was there. He turned up and it was in a plastic bag. But he eventually went on to design the album covers. So he didn't do too bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
The Mountain Park Central Station design. So yeah. And that's how I met them both. And apart from the fashion sense, which they had to take me shopping, I was in.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's brilliant. And sort of over the last, I imagine like it's unusual these days for a band to sort of still be gigging over sort of 30 years, but I think it's probably helped the Mondays that you haven't constantly gigged and toured and put records out for 30 years. Like you have sort of breaks and then you come back for a few gigs and a festival season and then you have a break like Shaun got, Mantra of the Cosmos now and previously like Black Grape. Like that must help as well to have that kind of like, break in between where you're not like in each other's pockets 24/7. I think that really helps with the longevity of bands when they do that.
Yeah, I think being in the studio and doing albums doesn't help and especially when you've got new albums to put out and touring in between. In the 90s, it was in everybody's pocket, and that's where the majority of bands do implode because when you see more of the band members than your girlfriend, wife, kids, it gets a bit stressful, So what we do now is we don't put albums out because I don't know if there's a demand for it. We've not wrote in 30 years. I disappeared for 17 years, didn't play music, was putting guitars in the loft. Yeah. And I got a proper job, really. I've got my own business and in play. And so I've been in and out the Mondays. I was the first incarnation in 96. I walked away from the music industry because everybody was off their heads, just a bit messy with factory. And I didn't want to start in a new band. Couldn't change my style. I have a style and I can't get rid of it. I tried, but it's just me. You are what you are. It's like a fingerprint. You are, you do what you do. And it was then I started teaching and got back playing again. And then I got a phone call. So that's, bit of a 17-year break, which I'm glad we look at real skin. So.
Yeah. Yeah. How was it like picking up the guitar again and sort of, did you have to sort of relearn to play, or would you sort of pick it up like riding a bike sort of thing?
I got involved in teaching schools, went for an audition I applied, and then they found out who I was on the application form, and one of the girls says, "Oh, and all the happy ones, well, bring him in, let's see what he's like. Just have a chat." And well, one criteria was to actually play a piece of music for two professionally trained musicians. Well, I'd not played in 17 years, so I had to find a piece of music to actually play to these. And I was panicking because, so I ended up, the only thing I could think that I could do was Blackbird by the Beatles. So I did that rendition in front of them, and they were really impressed with the enthusiasm. And when I started teaching in the schools, which educated me to start playing again. Now, I'd never done the rock classics, the things that you teach if you're a guitarist, you know what I'm talking about. You Black in Blacks and all the rock riffs kid want. So I started to learn them because I never learned them as a kid or when I was playing guitar. I was a bit of a surfer, so I'd never stick onto one song. I'd never do the rock stuff because that was cliche. You won't get anywhere doing that sort of thing. That was my attitude. And then I started to learn to read music, play in orchestras and get back into it. And then after 5 years, I got that phone call. I think 5, 8 years or something. I got the phone call to join the Mondays. So I was out with the program. Okay. The thing that really was hard to do was remember what the hell I'd played 30 years ago, 17 years ago, or probably longer actually.
Yeah.
But it wasn't written down. It was only on recording. So I had to spend a lot of time trying to find in the back of my brain what I was actually doing, because it's different parts of the fretboard, different harmonies, different structures and chord sequences that you can come up with. And I like to look at things outside the box and try something different all the time. So yeah, it was a learning curve, but I did it.
Yeah, wow, that must have been tough. Just on the teaching thing, I know you'll be interested in this. In Australia, we have a program called IMS, IMMS. I think it's specific to Western Australia, and kids. So my son's in that program, and kids get assessed for like musical aptitude in year 4 and 5, which is 9 and 10 years old. And they get offered placements in this program. So it's run alongside the school, and it's free, and he gets an hour's worth of classical guitar tuition a week for 7 years until he leaves senior, it's like high school. It's an amazing program. Yeah, he's a bit slack with his practice. He prefers a bit of Fortnite, and he's into his gaming. So I have to I sort of tempted him in because he's a little Aussie boy. So he likes AC/DC and all that kind of stuff. So I said, sit down. So he got his like little Yamaha classical guitar out, and I said, right. So I taught him how to play Smoke on the Water. And no. So what I do now is I sit down with him like sort of, a couple of times a week, and I get my guitar out, he gets his guitar out, and we go through the lesson together, and it just sort of keeps him like a bit more engaged in it. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully it'll sort of his enthusiasm again. But the IMS program is really, really good. Like, you don't get that like level of tuition like anywhere in Australia. We're really lucky with sort of things like that.
We have a service like that in Salford. It's called MAPAS, Music and Performing Arts Service, to supply all the skills with free education. And it keeps music alive, and it's a place to go when, like you're an elephant, you've got to find somewhere to just, end your life. It's like that sort of thing, because you can get talent and what you've learned over the past and influence kids, because it's one of those, like you said, with computer games. It can take the imagination away from children. They need something outside of what we're already doing. So it's a good thing, really. I think I'm just looking at the back of your wall there, and I've got that one, News of the World, Queen, and the other one.
It's a background photograph, but it is the actual wall of my office. But because it doesn't quite line up properly with the camera on the computer, I just took a photograph of it and made it the backdrop of my wall. Ian Jury down there.
Fleetwood Mac. I've got them all.
I'm doing, and there's a few on the other side. So there's Doors, JJ Cale, Sabbath, Let It Be. Yeah, but like sort of on the outside, it's like you can't see them. There was one more question I was going to ask you about touring and being with the band together. I know when I spoke to Rowetta, she is a staunch United fan, and I did a bit of Instagram research on you and obviously found out that you're on the blue side of Manchester. So does it ever get like a little bit sort of tense when there's a game on or the derby on, or how do you go together?
No, we don't get tense anymore. so with cocky like United used to be, because we win everything now, and no talk anymore because of the blue.
Oh, that's so funny.
I don't mind actually. You know, everybody everybody hates us now because we're winning everything. We're cheats apparently. So I get all this from the United fans. Gaz is here, Rose United fans.
Oh, is he?
So
So you're outnumbered.
All the time. I just laugh.
I gave Rowetta I used to do like a quick fire 5 sort of questions, and I said to her, as a United fan, who would you rather have, Harry Kane or Erling Haaland? And she said Haaland, just because that would mean that City would not have him anymore. So
yeah, exactly. That's where it's going. Yeah.
Okay, I'll move into the other part of chat, Mark. The title of my radio show is The Mixtape, and generally what I do is I ask guests. Imagine you're making up a mixtape or these days a Spotify playlist, and I give you a few sort of categories for songs, and then you pick a song, and then and then in the radio show I'll just drop them in between the chat. So track 1 of the mixtape, Mark, is put a song on your mixtape that you would be like a attention grabber, like a good song to kick off the sort of mixtape that you're making up.
Not had much time to think about this, but the first thing I just come up instinct, so straight away, cross soundtrack to Melody.
Ah, that's a great shout.
The intro
Absolutely.
is one of the best intros ever.
I know. It's such a chaotic intro.
I love that tune immensely. Always gets me going.
Track 2 for your mixtape, Mark, is put a song on your mixtape that you sing loud and proud when you're on your own in the car or the shower.
No, I don't know if you've heard me sing, but it's pretty shit. I think it's just any song that has a nice melody that I listen the last thing before the shower. I don't have one specifically that I sing when I'm in the shower all the time. See, what I do, I usually save a melody, and some songs have a melody that sticks in your head and you can't get it out of your head. So, turn to that question, I can't sing, but whatever's on the radio and I can't get out of my head for at least 24 hours.
Right, okay, cool. Yeah, no worries. And track 3 of your mixtape, Mark, is what's your favourite cover version?
There again, we've not been a very big cover versions. I've never done cover versions. When we first got together, we did, was it Joy Division, Radio Live Transmission, as, you know, just to get used to. We did a Clash number, tried to do a Soft Cell number, I Take Love, but I don't have a favourite. I'm not a big fan of doing other people's songs. It drives me nuts.
What about anyone ever covered the Mondays that you liked?
Well, there's a band over here called Happy Mondays, D-A-Z-E.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
I wish they'd find their own acts, but they cover us. They even look like us.
Okay, yeah. That would be a good place for me to play Step On, I think, because Step On obviously is a cover version.
We needed to get catapulted into the stratosphere of the top 40 thing, yeah, and we needed some sort of, and this song came along. I was given the single, I had 2 weeks, and I thought, hold on a minute, this is not us. Because it's got low, I don't know if you heard the John Conger's Step On, and there's 3 guitars in it, and I constant, all I could hear was ding, 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 ding. I thought, right, I'll strip it down to its natural form and just do that, and everyone, great. We didn't have time to analyse it, and to this day, we don't get money from it.
Played the original on my show 2 or 3 weeks ago, because the show that follows mine is like an Americana sort of show, and I always try and sort of like, at the end of my show, I always try and sort of like segue sort of smoothly musically into that show. Yeah, so I played the original 3 or 4 weeks ago on the radio show. But yeah, that's one of my, when people say, well, what are your favourite cover versions, like your version of Step On, because it is so different to the original. Like, I love that when it's cover versions are so different. Track 5 of your mixtape, Mark, is put a song on there that you would put on to let the listener know that you're romantically interested. So if like you were trying to woo your missus like back in the day, like what song would you put on your mixtape to let her know?
Do you know what? I'm 61 now. Romance is something that was a long time ago with song. I mean, I'm not in love. 10cc.
Yeah. That would have been the school disco back in the day, same as me, I imagine.
Exactly. First kiss in the disco. Damn right.
Oh, I've skipped track 4 there. Never mind. We'll go back. Track 4, Mark, is a song that you wish you could have played to your 18-year-old self.
God. Sex Pistols, God Save the Queen, because it really ruined prog rock for me. I was into like the prog rock, and then punk came along, and I thought, well, why didn't I think of that? It's, you know, what they were playing was like, just wasn't what was happening, and it just got.
Yeah.
There's quite a few actually. There's quite a few, but the Free Radicals. You've got the Music in Me, perfect pop song. Do one of them, you know, around the world. Do it again. Well, they didn't. They just did it once. You know, the Free Radicals. Great song. I don't know if he's written it. I think he did it.
Were you at the Free Trade Hall gig, Mark, or were you too young for that? The Sex Pistols one.
No, I missed it. I wasn't into punk. I was more of a rocker.
Yeah.
Learning to play the guitar. You listen to, you know, your rock bands, your 70s rock bands.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was. That would have changed my whole concept of what I'm doing wrong. You know, especially at 18. I'd not even picked the guitar up at 18.
Yeah, right. Okay.
20s, so I was a late starter. So, you know, music was just there's so much out there at the time. You just have to be at the right place at the right time. Unfortunately, I wasn't.
I love that scene in 24 Hour Party, people where Tony Wilson and Rob Gretton and Joy Division and Mick Hucknall and all them, they're all in that gig. Martin Hannett. That's an iconic movie scene for me. Like, I absolutely love that. You know, what everyone in that room like went on to do and achieve in music, like just from sparking off from that moment. Yeah, it's unreal. Yeah, is the Free Trade Hall still going as a venue, Mark? Is it still operating as a venue, or is it something else now?
I think so. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, because that should have like sort of what's the you know, when you preserve a building, heritage status, that building like for its musical significance, I think for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's probably got I mean, it's like the boardwalk. That's got a plaque up now, and it's office space. But I think the Free Trade Hall will probably never be used like that because it has got a lot of history.
Yeah, absolutely. Heritage, I think. Heritage listed, I think it's called. Yeah. Okay, last track of your mixtape, Mark, is something that's a little bit obscure, like a B-side or an album track or something that people might not have heard of. What's your favourite Mondays B-side or album track that's not a single?
Elijah, New Order. Is that a B-side?
I think it is, yeah. I think it is.
Play that when I'm in the coffin. Yeah, definitely.
Peter Hook's not far behind you, I don't think, with The Light. They're coming to Australia not long after you, I don't think.
He's always...
Yeah. He was only here about 8 months ago, and he's coming back again at the end of the year. I think doing similar sorts of venues to yourself. I think he's doing one of them where he does the whole album. I can't remember what it is now.
Back to front. It might be he's doing the back to front. Yeah,
that's
brilliant.
right.
Well, that's what you should do, really. Play stuff that, you know, people haven't heard of.
It stretches you as a musician as well to go back and play those album tracks that you probably only wrote in the studio, and then you've never done them live before. It must be you must keep it fresh for him as well doing that.
I've got a few like that, but like there again, it's stretching. What did I play?
Yeah, you might have to dig a little bit too deep to pick up all those B-sides and album tracks from the Mondays, mate. Yeah. We'll wrap it up there, Mark. Thanks so much for your time, mate. I really, really appreciate it. Really looking forward to the Fremantle gig. It's oztix.com.au for the tickets. And I'll see you in October, mate. Thanks very much for your time.
Yeah, you will do. Yeah, thank you, Mark. Take care.
That was the Mixtape podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to jump up to the top of the page and smash that follow button, and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. Or follow me on Instagram @TheMixtapePerf. Till the next time.